Welcome back to the Python tutorial series. I'm so glad you're here. This is the 48th video in the series, and today we will send emails using Python. We will first send a basic email in Python, then we will send an email with an attachment. So let's get started. I created a new file called sendemail.py and imported smtplib. And SMTP is the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, so that's what we'll be using to send emails. In order to send emails with your Gmail account with Python, you must go to myaccount.google.com and then go to Security and then go to App Passwords. And then once you go to App Passwords, you should see a screen like this. And you're going to want to create a new password for mail and on whatever your device is. And mine is my Mac here, and it will give you a password that will enable you to do it with Python on whatever device you're using. Once you have successfully created a password with Gmail, you can then go back to Python and create a variable called email sender and email sender password and type in your email and your password, whatever they are, in here. And now we can begin to send an email. So I'm going to create a with statement, and with smttlib.smptssl, so a secure connection, I'm gonna communicate with Google. So smtp.gmail.com communicates with them, and we're gonna use port 465, and we're gonna say as SMTP. Then we're gonna log into our account by doing smtp.login, and we will need our username and password here, which we already stored in the variables. Then once we log in, we're gonna create a subject for the message, and I'm gonna say test. And then the body of the message, I'm gonna say, how are you? Then I'm gonna create a message, and I'm gonna format this. So I'll do F for format, and then you do subject, and then whatever our subject is in here. So I'll do subject in here, and then we need two new lines to go to the body. Then we'll put the body in here, and this is how you format a basic email. Now that we have the email, we can do smtp.sendMail, and we're gonna pass in the email sender, then whoever we want to send it to, and you can send it to yourself for testing. And if you wanted to send it to multiple people, you would just store this in a list like this with commas in between. But I'm only sending it to one email, so I don't need to do that. Then we'll pass in our message. And then when we run this and you enter your actual email and the actual password, it will work. And I just sent the email and it worked. And you can see that the subject is test and the body says, how are you? This is great for basic text, but what if I wanted to send an email with an attachment? I could do that, so I'll create another Python file called sendemailwithattachment.py. I'll paste in the code from before, and now in order to send a message with an attachment, we're going to need to import some more modules. So from email.message, we're going to import email message. And then in order for an image, we're going to need to import img.htr. I'm going to delete the subject body and message right now. An email message is great, and I'm going to create a variable called message1. I said 1 here so it doesn't conflict with the message up there, so that's not confusing. And I'm going to set that equal to email message with open and close parentheses. Then I'm going to create the subject for the message like this, and I'll say the subject is image attached. Then I'll say from, and it's email sender. Then I'll say to, and I'll just say another email at gmail.com. Then I'll do message1.set content, and I'll say see image below, and this is just the body of the email. So if I would send it right now, this would work as a normal text email. But I want to add an attachment. So I'll create another with statement, and I'll say with open, then I'll open the attachment, which is called python logo.png. Then the mode is RB, and I'll say as f because it's a file. Then I'll create a variable called file data and set that equal to f.read. I'll also create a variable called file type and set that to imghdr. That's what we imported before. Then dot what. So this determines what type of file it is. And then I'll pass in f.name, which is the name of the file. Then I'll create another variable called file name, and I'll set that equal to f.name. Then outside of this with statement, I'm gonna add an attachment. So I'll do message1 dot add attachment, and I'll pass in the file data. Then I'll pass in the main type, and the main type is equal to an image because it's an image. Then I need to pass in what the subtype is equal to, and we already created a variable called file type, which allows us to do the subtype. Then I'll create a variable called file name. Then I'll set the file name equal to our file name. And be careful, file name is one word here, so that's why when we created the variable here it has an underscore. Now before I send it, I need to change the SMTP to SMTP.sendMessage. And then I'll just pass in message1. Now when you enter your email, it should work. And now when I go to my email, the subject is image attached and the body says see image below, and we get this Python image and it says python logo.png. So it successfully worked. You can do a bunch of things with sending emails in Python. For example, in the previous tutorial, we web scraped stock prices, so if you wanted it to check if a stock price was above a certain value, and once it reached that, you could send an email saying that the price was above or below a certain value. So sending emails in Python opens up many doors and has many opportunities. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow along with this video series by subscribing and hitting the notification bell, or by clicking on the next video so that you can expand your knowledge about Python. And as always, I can't wait to see you next time.